Welcome to the Talking Timelines podcast. We are four women with 4 points of view and four accents with one common goal: to share insights and information about what's going on in the world from a higher consciousness perspective. No BS, no PC, just lots of ideas that you won't hear on mainstream media. We chat, we laugh, and most of all, we shed and share light. Join us each week as we talk timelines.
Hi everyone, welcome to Talking Timelines, episode 30 today already. And in a short while, Susan will be joining us, hopefully. She's had a lot going on. We haven't seen her for a while, so she's going to be coming in shortly. And I've got Laura with me and Lisa, and we've got some interesting things on the agenda we'd like to chat about health, all kinds of things to do with health and how we're being affected, not just on the physical level, but on a quantum level with various things that are going on in the world. So the first thing I'm going to throw into the chat is about that document that's been out about ChatGTP and how they tested those college students and separated them into a couple of groups. The ones that were doing research on ChatGTP for 3 months and the ones that weren't, and then how they tested their cognitive function afterwards. Did you see it?
I did see it. Yeah, they actually showed a brain. You're talking about the one with the brain scan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the capacity of brain function. I mean, it shrunk to like almost nothing because you're not using your brain the same way. So it stops and eventually, like I said, atrophies, and you're going to
Mhm.
really have a really difficult time gaining that back. But then it shows a brain with not using it, and it's all lit up and firing and
Yeah.
active.
Well, they said it was something like 47 to 67% atrophy on like cognitive function, puzzle solving part of the brain. I mean, it's not turning people into, cabbages that can't do anything. It's the part of the brain that is problem solving that we need in life. That's what life requires, the creativity and the problem solving aspect of it. So that's been interesting, and that was an MIT research paper that was out there with 54 students. I made some notes. I said that they did an EEG on the brain and over 4 months, and they all had cognitive atrophy by a 40% drop in neuroconnectivity and marked inability to recall content they had just generated. So they couldn't even remember what they'd just done, and underperformed on subsequent tasks, even when the AI tool was no longer available. And the source of that is MIT Media Lab, if anyone wants to go and look into that. So if your kid's at college and they're using ChatGTP every day, you might want to like show them that so that they realize that they're doing themselves harm. I'm not against ChatGTP. I think it can be useful, but it's like anything. We've talked a lot about the AI side of things, and people are being given too much information where we stop using our brains. And I think that's part of an agenda as well.
And it's becoming more and more normalized to use that as a default. Like it's not even like I've seen it with friends of mine where it's not even that, okay, let me attempt this myself, see what I come up with, and then use it as a backup or as an enhancement. They'll go to that first and
Mm,
they'll suggest that. And to me, it's like, why? Because one of the things I enjoy doing is figuring things out and making the connections. I mean, that is one of the things about being human is that we do have the ability to do this. And I think as it becomes more and more normalized, where people doing this, they're not going to even stop and contemplate whether this is something that they could solve on their own.
yeah,
They just outsource it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as we all know, people of lesser intelligence are far easier to control than
Right.
people that are problem solvers and are balanced in their brain hemispheres and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out there that are in their left brain or in that masculine, logical side of it, but they're off balance as well. We need both sides of the brain to function, and preferably on an energetic level as one unit, um, because then you're not flitting from one side to another. You're using the whole brain, which, as far as I'm aware, that's how we were created in the first place, for it to function as one unit. I think the brain split when we fell into duality from neutrality in the first place. That there was a separation in the brain on that level.
Janine, since you mentioned the whole brain, I'll just say this very, very quickly. So one of the processes that I use in my work is Psych-K.
Hmm.
And the way the change actually makes in the subconscious is by going into a whole brain state, which I guide clients to get into the whole brain state, and then you can actually rewrite the programming in the subconscious. That's really interesting. That's probably how we started,
Yeah.
and then now we have to go back into that state in order to kind of undo programming or to actually rewrite programming that's in there. So I just find that really fascinating.
Yeah, I made an audio to heal concussion. It was after working with a US Marine that had been through a lot in the Middle East, and he'd had 5 concussions that were ignored because he was in the field, didn't have a chance to deal with them. And I made an audio that repairs neural pathways but integrates the 2 hemispheres of the brain. So I get people to visualize the brain in 2 halves and then swapping them from side to side and then back again, and then seeing them form as one unit. And it does make a huge difference to your brain function if you do that. I've seen people that have used it that their handwriting has improved if they've got dyslexia and struggle to write and stuff like that, because that's brain stuff as well. And it wasn't until after I made it that I realized this could probably be used in so many different things like CTE in football and Alzheimer's and all this other stuff. Well, we're talking about Alzheimer's and dementia. What are your thoughts on root causes of that? I'm intrigued.
Pharmaceuticals.
You think, what about you, Laura?
I just heard, yeah, I just heard something recently. Yeah, pharmaceuticals or vaccines, or that's kind of what's out there. But I've actually heard there was something that came out recently. A friend was telling me that it's actually um, they're it's sort of like a spiritual, like it's a higher dimensional that they're actually going to different dimensions. So it's a very, very different take on. I've heard both,
Hmm.
and I'm not really sure. I think it's probably both are true, depending on the situation. But it's the first time I ever heard that they're actually going into it's in different dimensions.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I read that
Which
on
would
on emotional level of it, that sometimes it can be people are like fear takes over and they're reverting back to being an innocent child where they need to be looked after and letting go of responsibility, which was an interesting, way to look at it. But to me, I'm really up on the metal toxicity in the brain and parasites, because I know someone who's got this, not close to me, but someone through someone else, and their brain scan actually showed atrophy in the brain. So to me, if it was just an emotional thing, why would the brain atrophy? If it was
Mhm.
just the metal toxins, if the metal toxins are in there and we're being bombarded with radiation through, towers, EMFs, blah, 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 which we're taught to imagine putting a fork in a microwave and the sparks that come off it from the radiation. If we've got metal toxins in our brain and we're being bombarded with radiation, then there's metal those sparks are going off in the brain. Maybe they are damaging the neurons and causing them to explode or be burned away or whatever. And maybe it is parasites that are actually eating the brain and feeding off it. Certainly I know, having watched Concussion and looked into that movie with Will Smith, brilliant movie about CTE in footballers, that shows that the overproduction of protein in the neuro pathways basically clogs them up, like pouring wet cement into a drain. Eventually it hardens up and they lose their mind over it. It's a really debilitating disease. And that movie was really interesting about
It
how
was
You
men,
would
really good.
yeah,
you would think there would be some device that would be able to actually see, maybe like an autopsy, I guess, or some study, just detect whether there are metals in the brain.
yeah. Oh, well,
It
I'm
seems like
sure
it
there
could be,
is.
There
yeah,
is,
they
but
probably
yeah,
just
Yeah,
don't want it out to the general public.
well,
exactly.
no. Well, yeah, and as a population, or I should say species, it was normal to deworm regularly, once a year at least,
Yeah.
and now, and then go into the sun and all that. And it just that doesn't happen. That's one of the countries that have the least amount of cancer is Mexico, and it's because they eat a lot of the hot peppers. And, the seeds in a jalapeno, for example, if you eat like 10 a day of those seeds, I don't know if you chug it down with a smoothie or just to get it down there. I think that's a benefit too. But they're literally pennies to cure a lot of what ails us. And of course, a lot of those studies don't make it to the mainstream.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. But parasite stuff is massive on social media now. Everyone's talking about
Yeah.
parasites, not just worms, flukes, all different tapeworms, all different types of parasites causing all kinds of healthcare issues. And one of the big cleansers out there that people are talking about is zeolite. And I've seen people use it and seen a change in them. Like they look lighter, like, that they've lit up.
I would just tell people to be careful because there is a ton of it on social media, but look at the ones that are selling a product for it. And that's
Yes.
what I would be really wary of.
Mm.
And obviously do your own research on top of it. They can be bringing up information, but so many of them are either pushing their services as
Yeah,
someone who does this, selling something.
affiliate. Yeah.
They're selling products. I would be really, really cautious because just like anything else, there's a lot of crappy supplements up there. And it's probably something you should really know about before you attempt to do, because you can also be pulling out, um, important minerals in your body. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what you're doing with these things.
Yeah, exactly. I think Susan's just trying to join us. Is she
Hey,
there?
hey,
Is
stranger.
she there?
Great to see you.
I know. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. Anyway, we are just talking about parasites, and I know you know a lot about cleansing and stuff like that. Have you ever used the zeolite stuff? I just mentioned it.
I have, and I also have used soursop. So
Yes.
you got,
Soursop.
and I have to be really careful with that because I started using it and I just kind of got aggressive and I ended up throwing. It was coming out both ends.
Oh, okay.
I was throwing up, then I was the other, then I was throwing up, and I was like, God, I'm so sick. And then I realized, I go, I was being cleansed.
Oh yeah, it
From
does
the
make you
sour
sick.
top. It was just over. You have to
Yeah.
be very careful. You have to do it very gently.
Yeah.
And yes, and when you do it, you have to be doing something like zeolite to bind and get it out because if you don't, those
Right.
parasites just start digging deeper and deeper down into, wherever they're at, to survive. They're very smart. It's almost like an intelligent creature in your body,
Well,
from
I
what I've,
think, yeah, on the level of quantum, on an energetic level, I remember
yes.
when I do healing with people, I always ask for things to be taken out of their cells and the spaces in between and in
Mhm.
between on the quantum level, because I can't remember where I found that information a long time ago, that these things they call viruses hide in between the layers of the energetic bodies. So you could be cleansing your energetic body or you want to cleanse this, that's your intention, and they're hiding in the gap, basically laughing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Or even in the
Really.
cell membranes, they hide too. Because I remember when I was being treated for Lyme disease a number of years ago, I was working with a holistic doctor, and there were certain things that she was able to tell, and she was like, "They hide. That's why it's so hard to treat. Is that you can be taking all this stuff, whatever. It's not going to get to them."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
you can do a liver cleanse, and then the parasites will just move on to another organ.
Yeah, so you've got to be
very
careful with
clever
doing,
little devils.
yeah, it's like Susan said, you've got to be careful with cleansing that you use a binder to pull them out. So you are, going to the loo and pooping them out and getting them out of your system, not just killing them and then you've got rotting parasites in your body. You've got to get them out of your body. People need to realize that. So it is something that you need to do with some guidance. Somebody's got some experience or, do a lot of research before you go into it. But the only one I ever suggest to people is zeolite because I've seen the results.
Mhm.
My, best friend in England recommended it, and I trust her implicitly because she does her research and she's not on the internet. Like you said, these people are promoting, oh, we've got parasites and you need to buy this product, but they're affiliates. So they're making money from selling you the product. And you need to be careful. I'm not saying they're wrong or they're bad,
Everybody
but
makes
just,
money from the sale of a product, though.
yeah. Yeah, it's okay
Good.
for people to do that, but not everyone's as honest as us. That's what we're saying here.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
everything.
And do your research.
Yeah, do your research. Yeah.
Even if you find something that sparks your interest, don't just, click and purchase. I usually go away from it and then I'll go in and Google it, the
Yeah.
company itself, and do some research. But
Yeah.
it's easy to get drug into the clickbait of buying that stuff.
Yeah,
I,
it is.
I, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think we all have been at some point.
The only cleanses I've done is well, I did a 10-day water fast once, lost a lot of weight. Is the Master Lemonade cleanse, the one with maple syrup and fresh lemon, squeezed lemon and
mhm.
water and
Yeah,
cayenne
I did that
pepper.
years ago. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
really good cleanse. Even just for 3 days, it does make a difference. But if you do it for longer than that, you've really got to be careful because you've got to introduce your body back into eating gently with the liquid food and stuff like that. You can't just go and have a big, massive Sunday roast when you're coming out of a cleanse. It's not good for your
You
body. It's
can't
gonna.
go, you can't go to the buffet, huh?
No, a lot of people do. They do,
They
and then they
do. I
really feel
know.
hungry.
Just the idea of it is like,
I know. Like just the
Yeah, because
idea
you
of a
know they're going to
buffet.
be. Yeah, and then
Okay.
they can end up going backwards for 3 days just from that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So the other thing I've written on my list, I wanted us to just bounce off one another with, is so we're talking about health and all kinds of areas of health today. Mammograms, we've touched on it before. I've never had one.
I've
Never
only had
have.
one.
Always had one. Susan, have you ever had a mammogram?
I've had one.
You've had one.
I've
Yeah.
had one. And then they said they found something, so they wanted me to come back in to have another test done, and it was nothing. And I just said, "Oh, this is not, I just never went. I never did it again."
Yeah.
And then I started, you know, tapping into the things that we discuss,
Yeah.
on this podcast that, is that the best choice for me? Where you can self-exam and you
Yeah.
can do other things to, instead of just automatically going. I mean,
Yeah.
my one of my good friends' mom just passed of she, and she was older, but she had breast cancer and it metastasized. And now the daughters go every year because their mom has, passed away from it.
Yeah.
Going, yeah, but you are exposing yourself to radiation,
Yeah.
on
Well,
top.
And also the compression of the breast, which is not good,
Yes.
which is also the same
trauma.
thing with biopsies. How biopsies are also extremely dangerous. You're actually
Yes.
puncturing a hole and you're letting it spread throughout the body.
Yeah, you're letting the parasites go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the mammogram information that's coming out now online is that it actually does more harm than good. And for every one, that they may find a problem, which may not even be a malignant problem, there's more being caused by the actual trauma to the breast itself and the exposure to the radiation. So it's more dangerous. However, people need to learn, especially, as women, we need to learn, like Susan said, self-examination. I've had lumpy and bow breasts in my 40s. Came to me in a dream. I was shown it, tuned into my body, could see them. I've been clairvoyant my whole life, could actually see them, actually asking my body, what is the root cause of this? The one in my right breast was anger, and the one in my left breast was grief. So I knew what I needed to heal in my system. And they're both gone. Obviously, they're both gone. That was a long time ago. It's 15 years ago, thereabouts now. And I'm super healthy. And learning to self-examine, not just on a physical level, on a level of tuning into your body. I'm not just talking about, putting your arm up above your head and feeling around the breast and around the nipple to see if there's a lump there, because this was deep inside me. There was no way I would have found it by, touch. And there was something else that I wanted to share in relation to that. It's the sinuses are 5 channels that enable us to tune in to our intuitive sensory perception. and the importance of keeping your sinuses clear. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday about that. Hopi ear candles. Has anyone tried them?
What's it called?
Hopi ear candles. You know the tube candles you put in your ear and you set fire to
Yes.
the
Ear candling.
Oh,
Ear
yeah,
ear
candling.
candling. You all done
Yes.
yeah,
them?
Hmm.
yeah,
Brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
yeah.
Anyone out there who's never tried them, highly recommend. They're easy to do. You know, if you're kind of smart women like us, you'll probably watch a YouTube video with your best friend and you can get them on the internet or go to a salon and get them done. But they clear out all your sinuses in your ears. And basically afterwards, to me, I felt like when I was breathing in through my nose, I felt like I was breathing in and out through my ears as well. I felt
Yeah,
so clear. But that increases your intuitive, spiritual, sensory perception. And the reason I brought that up, because then you can tune in to your higher consciousness and tuning into, what's going on in your body and checking yourself over because you've heightened your sensory perception, your
yeah,
ability to do that. So ear candling, hope it must be the Hopi Indians that are that started it, and that's where that name come. You get different types as well if you buy them on the internet. The waxy ones are good, and when you unravel them afterwards, you can actually see the stuff that's come out of your
yeah,
ears. And if you've never done them, you might need a course. So it's not just one. If you have a course with someone who knows what they're doing, you may need, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more, but certainly worth doing.
yeah. And there's local, if a person searches, there'll be probably a local practitioner
Yeah.
somewhere. So like 25 years ago, I had mine done locally here in Vancouver. And then 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, while in Palm Desert, California, I found one that was like really close to where we were staying. And both Andy and I went and had it done. And it was just, and you know what? She is the perfect person to do it too, because she had special talents as well in the ether.
Yeah.
Like she was a special type of person. So
Well, I've had them done in like a hairdressing salon when I was in the UK, and it was a young girl, sweet girl, put them in, done. But when I went to somebody that's more on this holistic wavelength, she was massaging my face as well, and clearing the channels through facial massage, and it made a much bigger difference. So
wow, nice.
ask them if they massage your face. You don't just want somebody just sticking in, taking their $50 or whatever, $100 and just sticking a candle in your ear. Get the full Monty treatment because it does make a big difference. And it's amazing how clear you feel, especially if you're on your phone or computer a lot. If you're in front of a screen, your sinuses are getting blocked up. You're taking that energy into your face every day
Well,
if you
and you
work
have
on it.
lymph nodes, and when you have lymph nodes in your face, and especially all down through here, and
Yeah,
that is very important and you can feel them.
yeah,
If you just and if you feel a little nodule, just massage it.
yeah,
Sometimes and they and they clog up due to impurities that we take into our body.
yeah,
As you know, and underneath your arms, sometimes I've felt nodules underneath my arms, and I've just had to, I mean, and sometimes they hurt. So, I've just had to gently massage them and have done it for 2 or 3 days just to get that lymph movement going again.
yeah,
So it's really important to keep your lymph system open. And,
yes.
and your lymph system is in every crease of your body. It's behind your knees. It's right at your growing area where you sit down. Is that there's those creases, your arms, your elbows, and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Before we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
before
I-
we move away from mammograms, the thing also to keep in mind is just look what probably a multi-billion-dollar industry the whole breast cancer awareness movement is.
Hmm.
and
They
I've never.
devoted a month to it. The month of October is breast cancer awareness. You have to wear a pink bow to show that you're in support. And I remember when I used to work corporate and everyone would wear them. I would never wear it. I just was like, no, I'm not wearing this stupid thing. Like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me, it just felt like it's first of all, it's making people feel guilty guilty if they're not part of this. Oh, you're not
Mm.
getting, then they're asking other people, oh, did you get a mammogram? You see on social media, get your mammogram. It's like such, and this is more of this messaging, the subliminal
Hmm.
messaging that also, I believe, and this just is my own thing, it's also about, oh, women are flawed and that, oh, you have breasts, you're going to have this thing, you need to go like, oh, be careful because this horrible thing could happen to you. You have to look, and I also believe that if you go looking for something, you may find it. That's why
Yeah,
these people that are going for annual
Absolutely.
checkups, you're going for looking for things, you're going to find something.
if
If
you
you're like,
focus on
I
it.
mean, if you're more in tune with your body, then you'll discover something. And the other night, I just did something so random. Before I go to sleep, I put some magnesium oil on the bottom of my feet. And it's just kind of like a couple of, and
Yes.
I put this delicious like oil, spray on my pillow. And it's just like this little thing that I do. And for some reason, I was just rubbing in the excess oil. And I don't know why I've never done this before. I just said like, body, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And it was
Yeah,
just like, wow, where did that come from? And it was so
yes.
interesting. It wasn't that I was necessarily looking for an answer, but I was just kind of letting it know that, wow, like I'm here to basically serve you. And the more we're in tune with that, the more we're going to get messages from it. It was just so funny. I've never done that before, but I just felt like, what do you need that I'm not doing or not paying attention to?
Yeah, I did it the other day. I went into my local store. It's called Nature's Fair, and I love it. It's all organic stuff, and it's just the best shop in town. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, body, what do you need? I got taken over to rutabaga, sweet potato, kale, arugula, just like all this really good nutritional, earthy stuff because there's been a lot of energy coming in this week. I don't know if you felt it. I've been really tired. I can,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
massive downloads of energy coming in, and it's all grounding stuff. It's all been stuff that's, grounding food like turnips and potatoes and, not too much of it, but my body was telling me I need this. We've just got over Christmas as well, and I wasn't eating as clean as I normally would because it's
Hmm.
Christmas, you got to enjoy life as well. Um, so yeah, it's a good thing to do that with your body. Like I say, when you get these sinuses cleared and that perception and your third eye open, that vision, you can tune in, you can see things, what's going on. You can tune in. I can tune into my liver and go, okay, what are you functioning on today? You're only functioning on 90%. What do you need? Need a cleanse, need certain foods. That area of the body likes pineapple and stuff like that as well, clear certain organs. Your kidneys tend to hold
Hmm.
on to fear and stuff like that. Kidney beans look like kidneys, broccolis look like your lungs. So there's,
Hmm.
the food, there's clues there in nature of what
That's
to eat.
true.
Red peppers for your heart, strawberries like heart shape as well, affect certain areas of the body. Blueberries are great. I try to eat a lot of blueberries for your brain because they're their only blue food, which is your third eye. So I remember I had a friend years ago. She was super, super intelligent in England. She's still a friend, but I haven't spoken to her for a long time. And I think she had 3 degrees. And when she was young, she was on the spectrum when she was young. She told her parents, I'm only going to eat the colours of the rainbow each day. So Monday it would be red, Tuesday it would be orange, Wednesday it would be, yellow. And her parents let her eat like that while she was growing up. So what she was doing is every day was feeding a different
Our
chakra.
chakras.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And it was like innate in this little girl. She grew up super intelligent. And she didn't
Well, I
use,
mean, I will say this. So fluoride is an industrial waste product, and it attacks our it gives us arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, and it decreases our IQ.
yeah.
I don't know. You just brought up the third eye,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well, that's
and
the pineal gland.
fluoride is, yeah, it's a fluoride is a direct attack on that.
Yeah, it crystallizes the pineal gland in the brain, which is
Yes,
the astral doorway, and it's our connection to source.
right.
That's
But the
that's
good thing about it is that it has been that the White House will advise the U.S. water systems to remove fluoride from public water.
excellent.
Yeah.
A lot
And I
of
hope they
states,
do that in Canada.
it's already removed in a lot of states.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, like it's interesting that you mentioned that, Susan, because we were kind of
Hmm.
mentioning it earlier. So they're making a lot of progress, and you know, you don't really see it on mainstream,
Mm-mm.
uh, and have other people like learning about it. But like in the States too, they just in the last week, well, there's an announcement today that they're going to be improving the food supply in the schools. You know,
Hmm.
basically eat real food because that is affecting how you know these kids are functioning, and also without the proper nutrition, you know, down the road, then it's taxing on the health system.
Absolutely.
True, right? And
Hmm.
then last week they said that the White House has announced that they're gone from over 70 vaccines on the schedule down
To
to 11.
11.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
that's a
lots has
good
What's the
happened in the
shift.
next
last
thing?
week.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a
Well,
lot of progress happening out there.
there is. So the National Health Agency just shifted 650 million away from chemical dependent crop subsidies into soil first generative programs. So yeah, they're not supporting farmers that are using these heavy pesticides in their crops anymore.
So change is upon us. It's
Change
happening.
is
It's just
happening.
like it's not getting put on the 6 o'clock news every night.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
but it is happening. And
Yeah,
the cleaner we get, we have to remember that the outside world is a projection of our consciousness and us. So
Yes.
if we
yeah,
get clean, and the more of us that gets clean, the outside world changes because the frequency gets higher and we lessen the toxicity in our bodies. There's less toxins in the world around us. And if you think about it, it makes sense. You know, people say this that our body is 70% water. I don't believe it's 70% water myself, but there's a lot of liquid in it for sure. And if that is full of toxins and the ocean's full of toxins, it's a projection, you
yeah,
know, because we're all one thing and we're all connected. So the more toxins that are outside in the world, you know, are a projection of the toxic people because it's us and the animals that create the outer world. It's a projection of
yeah,
our consciousness. So it's our responsibility to clean ourselves, and the outside will naturally start happening, which is what you're saying now, Susan, with all these things changing because we're changing.
Oh, I see it. It is so abundant. People talking about, doing having farms. You would hear them every now and then about a community farm, but now it is just rampant. You're hearing about it all the time. It's everywhere where you might see or hear about, one little farm once a year. So it is, and people just talk. Oh, Kelly and Mark. Okay, Kelly and Mark show,
I
which
don't.
my mom watches every morning, so I have to watch it. And which I do love them anyway. So it was remember Philip, what was it? Regis and Kathy Lee, and then it became Regis and Kelly. So now it's Kelly and her husband Mark. I mean, she's got a segment every day. They're going and talking about healthy foods to eat, and how to bring them back into your daily life, and the benefits of it, and what you're going to benefit from this food, and it keeps you out of the hospital, and it's good to eat because it's brain health, and so they found that like this particular food will help you with not getting dementia. And you never heard anything like that on just, regular,
TV.
TV. And so because my mom's here now, because I never, I don't even watch it. I'm starting, I'm in the same room where she's at doing things, and I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm thinking, oh, that actually, and even the little bit of news that, because she doesn't really know what I'm not saying she doesn't know what she's watching. It's just something to watch to her. She's not politically
Yeah.
any way whatsoever. And I mean, and even mainstream media is saying things a whole different. It's not. They're bringing things slowly to the light too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not obvious, but if you're awake and
Yeah.
you you see it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just a
That's what
reverse. It's a reverse programming.
Yeah.
yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll see a lot of the progress. But if you're distracted, like on, just distracted with, there's many ways to get distracted,
Yes.
you're gonna miss a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen on social media, because going back to also what you were saying, Susan, and Janine, about, eating certain things and the colors, there's a number of people with very big followings. Some of them are doctors, some of them are health coaches, whatever, talking about how toxic vegetables are, how toxic certain fruits are, that you need to stay away from them. And no, I do, and about what is it called? Is it the leptins? Is that what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
poison that they put out? So to me, it's just more confusion for people to think like, okay, great, nothing is healthy for you. You
Yeah.
can't eat anything. Um, are you guys familiar with this? Have you heard all these people that are
Oh
saying
yeah,
all
there's a
poison?
yeah, the doctor guy with the grey hair is always like talking about
Dr.
all these
Gundry.
these lectins and stuff, and then there's a product to buy at the end of it.
Yes.
But not only
The
him,
one that
other
makes the olive oil.
no,
I
a lot
can't
of
think of
other
his name.
people as well. They're basically saying this is why this vegetable does this, and this is what it does. Kale is the most dangerous vegetable you could, and intuitively it makes absolutely no sense.
Well, we have to trust our gut on it because, for one, we're not all the same kind of spirit
Right.
in a physical body. Some people are extraterrestrial, some people are angelic, some people are, more earthy. So we need different types of food for our frequency because we're different frequencies. You can see that. You just need to go and sit outside a cafe and look at people. They all look like from different planets, you know. That's because they are.
Well, and
Um,
that's what's great about being in tune with your body because you know what
yeah.
food is not good for you.
You
I
know
mean,
when you
you
eat
know
it.
what
Yeah,
you
we just
know.
override it and we just eat
Right.
it anyway.
Yeah. And then you go, this is me. I'll go like, well, I would like to have those beans, but I know they're going to give me gas.
Yeah. Which is your
Because
body saying this is toxic.
exactly, it's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
your
that's a
body
perfect
will tell
example.
you.
Well, there's a perfect example because there is one school that says beans are one of the healthiest things you can have.
Yeah.
They're loaded with this, loaded with that. Then the other one they say it's the most toxic thing you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, if your system can handle it, it's probably good for you.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. You've
Yeah.
got to
Or
you've got to
how you're eating it.
trust you got to trust your body. Like I will eat certain things. I've noticed more recent. I didn't eat fried food at all, and then I developed a little penchant for the odd French fry last year. And I had some last month, and I was up all night. My body was like, "No, you're not having this greasy stuff anymore."
Yeah.
And I don't eat a lot of them, guys.
Yeah.
I do take care of myself, but every now and then. So, and I literally felt nauseous all night. And then over Christmas, those Lindt chocolates, the really nice,
Yes.
Oh,
like, had 3 of them.
Yeah.
Next morning, my liver was in so much pain because of the preservatives in them.
Well, not only
So,
that, Lint is, I think, one of the ones with the high heavy metal lead,
yes.
high lead. There's a whole thing about chocolate, and Lint is one of the ones that have, yeah, it's
Uh,
a high
yeah,
lead content.
yeah. So, that was it was Christmas. And
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean,
they tasted good at the time, but my body tells me this is not good. And
yeah,
even
sometimes
now, once you're really connected to your higher consciousness, go and pick something up off the shelf, and my higher consciousness will go, "No, Janine."
but I,
Yeah.
yes,
Me
I've
And I
too.
done
can
Me
that.
literally
too.
hear it.
Yeah.
well,
You know,
I've had a sensitive
yeah.
stomach for like since my early 20s. I've had to be very, very tuned into that. And sometimes I would say, because you do want to enjoy things, I'd say, is this worth the stomach ache I'm
But
going to get later? And sometimes you just say, screw it, yes, and you have it. But other times it's like, okay, it's going to taste good, but I'm going to get a stomach ache.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you learn
Yeah.
to tune into it.
One of
Okay.
the things that I remember that I like, because certain times of the year, like in the winter time, you're not as active. Sometimes you put on a few pounds or whatever. Or it could be just like the Christmas holidays and the treats and just what we normally don't eat, we're eating, and sometimes we're not feeling well. But one thing I've noticed is that and I'm not a dieter at all, but one thing that I have noticed is through the app on my phone, a blood type diet, is that it is pretty accurate with some of the foods that it tells me what to stay away from,
Yes.
like, right, pork,
Yes.
and for some people it could be certain types of dairy, it could be certain types of vegetables, and sure enough, certain types of vegetables will cause me to be, bloat right up. And so that's what I just thought, geez, I wonder if it's a coincidence because this is pretty accurate for me. But
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't even know what their blood type is.
I don't.
Yeah.
No?
I don't.
Okay.
Mine's B positive, which is quite
Me
funny.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. It does make a difference. So you've got your blood type, that makes a difference. You've got what kind of spiritual frequency your core is, makes a difference. Where you were born, the relationship from sea level, if you're born at the top of a mountain, obviously you're meant to be eating the food that comes from up high there. So it does make a difference. All of these things are taken into consideration. And this is why you shouldn't listen to the advice that's generic advice. You need to learn to be in touch with your own body and what feels right for you. And if you're putting on loads of weight, obviously you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. It's common sense.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And you know what? Uh, unless it's working for you, because if a person's underweight or anorexic, if you're putting on the right weight, then more power to you. There was a friend of Andy's that his daughter was having it's going to be his first grandchild, and she did have the baby. It was due on the 25th, but she was going through labor, it wasn't ready to come out. And then the hospital was tired of waiting for 4 days, so they induced her on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, it's just like the whole system. Like you see how some people, like some women give birth in bathtubs or in water. There's some that don't have anything to do with the stirrups and everything because it's a natural. They go on their knees and they open up
Yes.
their hips
Yeah.
and then they release the baby. So again, it comes down to awareness and your belief systems.
Yeah, that's important because that's in the news this week as well. Not mainstream news, guys. We're never talking about that with the good stuff. About the increase in C-sections in women because there's more money in
Oh
it.
yeah. They just schedule them.
Yeah.
It is the like for my daughter's, my daughter's age, it's like you don't what, natural birth? No, everybody schedules a C-section.
Yeah.
It is the in vogue thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
there's so much benefits from the child coming through the birth canal. And then they clip the umbilical cord,
Way
they
too
clip
soon.
it too soon, and then they clip it, then they cut it, and you're supposed to allow that nutrients to continue to come from the mother
At
to
least
the
an up
baby.
hour after
Remember.
birth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's just so many different things that have been done to us.
Well, I did a YouTube video about birth trauma and the link to autism, because when we are, when babies come down through the natural vaginal canal, the walls of the woman massage their nervous system
Oh,
in a positive way. And that's really important it affects the vagus nerve in the system. So if that's interfered with through epidural, for example, which numbs you down there, so the massage, that pushing is not happening in the same way. That massage that the baby gets is not happening in the same way. The vagus nerve isn't being reset properly. I can't remember all of it now, but it's on my YouTube channel. I did a big thing about it because I found an osteopath doctor in the UK of 23 years who was healing autism by resetting the vagus nerve of some of these young kids, young kids up to 7 to 8, 9, 10 years old that had various symptoms on the spectrum linked to birth trauma. So it's not just about the vaccines. There's a lot more involved here. We give birth through our vaginas for a reason because it's natural. But even looking back into that, because that led me into looking at why we need pain, why it's so painful when we give birth. And that's all linked to the fact that our bodies haven't got the right nutrients in. You know, going back before we got into eating junk food and all that stuff, a fully healthy, clean female can give birth very quickly without a lot of pain.
Yes.
But it's all down to your health, how healthy your body is, if there's enough nutrition in your system, it creates a natural pain relief on a hormonal level, that you don't need all these drugs and stuff like that. So we've gone so far down this path of being, our bodies are toxic and not functioning properly. And then you get women going into menopause and are on HRT. Shouldn't be taking HRT. Nobody should be taking HRT. I didn't even have a menopause because I switched that program off when I was 42. And when I was 50, everything just stopped. No spotting, no hot flashes, nothing at all. And it wasn't just me. Did it to my best friend as well. She didn't have a menopause. And some of my students have gone through there's a workshop on my website that clears that out of your system. If you think about it, it's program. I remember listening to my mum and my elder sister, who's 19 years older than me, talking about their hot flashes and how horrible it was. And it's been programmed in. That's what I've got to expect when I'm older.
Yeah. And when you go
Yeah.
to the doctor, they're going to say, we take out your uterus.
Mm-hmm.
Hysterectomies, just like the C-sections are, have exploded. You could talk to, it's very common. A lot of women out there have had hysterectomies.
Yeah, that's another thing that I don't agree with either. I think it's linked to something quite demonic, to be honest, because the womb is the creative center, it's the portal, and it's powerful. It's a powerful part of our creativity, manifesting, and all of it on many levels of consciousness. So there's a lot to think about, particularly for women. We should do an episode where we do a little bit more about the men as well, because they've got a lot of prostate troubles, stuff like that, which I think is linked to fear that they store in their lower chakras, and the blockage on the emotional level. They're not taught to deal with their emotions. Like, women are quite happy to cry on one another's shoulders. Men are not, so they bottle it all up. And they read all this nasty stuff in newspapers and watch the news, and I think it all compacts in their lower two chakras and affects their prostate. That's my take on it anyway. So I have treated some men with prostate problems. Fear of women is another big thing that gets stored in that area and can cause problems down there as well, which is understandable.
Fear of women, is that what you said?
Yeah, we can be scary.
We can.
Yeah, we can be scary. Yeah.
But if you go back,
most men would say they're scared of women.
Yeah, but if you go back, like, hundreds, thousands of years ago, whatever, we were using magic and all sorts and stuff. So, witchcraft, all that stuff was normal. They were scared of us, and
They know
still...
how powerful we are. They will
Yeah.
admit it. Women are far superior to men. You ask any man and they will admit that.
Yeah. Yeah, and real men know it. They respect women.
Mhm.
And for
Real
those that are
men.
listening right now,
Real men.
like, so yesterday I got on and I saw this thing on YouTube that was Rick Springfield, what's in his fridge in his gym. So it's Men's Health, that channel, the
Okay.
magazine Men's Health.
Uh-huh.
So they interviewed him. So I watched that one. That was pretty good. And I watched, I don't even know why he was on there, but anyways, they have Gene Simmons from Kiss, the lead guitarist there. So he's explaining, and they're all opening up their fridge, what's in there. They all admit it's the woman that is the main health, hacker in the household.
Yeah.
She's the one that buys everything. So with Rick Springfield, his wife buys everything organic. Same with Gene Simmons. There's another one I watched, but Gene Simmons also said, his wife Shannon Tweed says, every year, once a year, where everybody goes for an MRI and their annual tests just to see how our body's functioning. And yeah.
You don't need to go for an MRI. You can go for NES treatment. The biofeedback will tell you exactly how your body's functioning, and not just on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, because it reads the energetic bodies, and it's the energetic body that is the software in the machine that creates the physical anyway. So why are you looking at the physical? It's, it's the last area that's got the problem in. You need to go
Yeah,
into
yeah.
what's causing the physical.
Energetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But just, I don't know, I'm not sure how long we're going to chat for, but if you can just speak to that, like how would someone actually go in for a biofeedback testing? And I have had that before, but could you explain for the listeners?
Well, I don't know how it works in Canada and America, because I used to go to my friend in the UK that had NES. It was called NES, and it was basically you hold these two copper rods in your hand,
Hmm.
and it reads your energy body, and it gives you this massive, like 10-page printout of everything in your body, your bone marrow, your bone density, what's going on in all of your organs, what's going on the emotional level, what's in your system. Because grief, for example, has a frequency. Anger has a frequency. All of these things, frustration has a frequency. They can be read. Just looking up biofeedback therapies and stuff like that give you a printout of everything that's going on. And then there was a little machine that sends a vibration into a tincture, and that tincture was made especially for what you need. So, look for something like that.
That's more personalized anyhow. And
Yeah,
also, if an MRI or one of those other tests do come up with something, then what they're going to push, traditionally, a traditional treatment.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not against it. I just don't use it. Like, I haven't been to the doctor for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I had a headache the other day, and it was an energetic problem. It wasn't anything else. And my other half said, why don't you just pop a Tylenol? I'm like, no, I haven't had anything like that for probably 20 years. Well, I'm not going to put that into my body.
Yeah.
It will pass. I'll fix it myself. I'll find out what it is myself. But that does take time. It does take time to be, to get tuned in, and it does take practice, but we can do it. Okay. The other thing we wanted to just touch on as well, placebo. We mentioned placebo earlier. Was that you, Laura?
That was me.
Yeah.
Well, so much of when I mentioned it in context to sort of traditional Western medicine is that so much of what is prescribed are actually placebos or can be placebos.
Mhm.
So we expect to have a certain outcome by taking something or doing something that we actually manifest the result, but without it actually being the thing that we're taking. So it's such a big part of it, whether it's a prescription some medication, doing something, and it's such a big part of it. It's the belief. If I believe this thing is going to heal me, then chances are it will. And it also works the other way around. If I believe something is harmful to me, then you will probably manifest it not being good for you.
Mm.
And I mean, there was a study done, a major study years ago about um, how 75%, I think, of antidepressants are placebos, if not
Inter
more.
Interesting.
Wow. Wow.
And that is mind blowing because those are pretty serious medications. And I know probably something like 75% of the population at one time or another has been on an I mean, I know the number is staggering.
Yeah.
And the thing is that yes, people will say it is very helpful. There also is a big downside to that in terms of what it's doing to you energetically.
Yeah.
And just to find out that placebos to me is like there's such an opportunity to address this in another way, which is what you do, what I do, what a lot of other holistic practitioners do. But anyway, I thought it was really interesting because that is clearly, an example of having, if I take this thing, it is going to help, alleviate my depression.
Mm. Like my friend who texted me the other day and said, have you got 5 minutes, because I'm having heart palpitations and I don't trust doctors. She's 76. So I'm like, sure. So I called her, checked in, got in the zone. I said to her, you've been on the internet? And she said, yeah. And it was the AI. We talked about it over the last few weeks. AI come out of the internet, hooked into her heart, and her heart was having palpitations. So I taught her how to cut herself, like it's like a cord cutting. Anyone who's did cord cutting out there, similar to that. Cut yourself free, push it back in, push it away from you. It was giving her heart palpitations. Now, had she gone and continued to use the internet without that knowledge and gone to a doctor, she'd be on angina tablets now,
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
least, which are going to be destroying the rest of her organs and causing her, causing her problems. So this is like, when I told my partner about it, it was like, but she could have a heart attack. And he's like, she's intuitive enough to know, do I need an ambulance or do I need to phone Janine? And she got told phone Janine. But, so she's tuned in.
Yeah.
She's tuned in. And that's not the first time stuff like that's happened. So it's just, spent an hour on the phone with her, did a bit of healing, taught her how to do it. She's going to be fine now. She'll know if that happens to her again, how to handle it. And this is the kind of
Yeah.
thing I teach to my students in my workshops, because we're being bombarded on every level now. And people don't talk about how we're being bombarded on the quantum level.
Well,
No.
what's really interesting is that there's this mysterious illness going around New York City. It's like some flu that's like, and I see the little like news blurb things about, oh, the flu season this year, it's worse than ever. And there are all these things and mysterious symptoms. Anytime I'll see something on social media of someone, especially like TikTok, someone talking about this thing, I pass by it so fast.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I'm not bringing that into my thing. I don't believe in this, in
No.
terms of like everyone's so worried. I'm like, I know what I do to keep myself healthy and my immune system healthy. And I'm constantly checking in. If I'm feeling a little funky, I'm like, oh, is this a physical thing? But that is also getting on in people's consciousness that, oh my God, there's this scary thing going around that we need to be in fear, and then fear actually probably contributes to lowering their immune system to getting them
Yeah.
sick in the first place.
Exactly. It weakens the immune system. And the fact is that the common cold and the flu will never be cured because it's a natural detox.
Mhm.
So
Hopefully.
there's an article I just put from a book that book you told me about, Laura, that higher consciousness book.
Mhm.
Right, I've been reading that, and it actually states in it that to suppress these natural detox, symptoms in the body can cause ill health and death. And I actually took a photograph of the page and put it on my Instagram feed
Mm.
and said to people, just think about this.
Well, same thing
Why?
also with fever. Lowering
Yeah,
fever is one of the worst things you could do.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that talk about the body reacting and healing itself, that's one of the most, powerful kind of like auto mechanisms we have.
yeah. I always
Yeah.
guide
And
people.
look how amazing. Look how amazing we all feel after we've had a flu
Yeah,
or a fever, right? It's just almost that thing needs to leave us.
yeah, exactly. Okay, the other thing I just wanted to quickly touch on as well is pets and what's going on with these shots, more shots, and the corporations that are buying out vets and how they're pushing now shots, more shots for vets.
Just making them sick, more vet bills.
Yeah, did you see that guy that was talking about the rabies shot, saying there's no such thing as rabies, it doesn't exist?
Well, what is it then?
Well,
Just
apparently it was somebody put a dog in a cage and kept it locked up in a cage and it went crazy and he stuck a vaccine in its head and calmed it down and he said it was rabies and the vaccine cured it.
Jeez.
So,
Well, I've heard, okay, and this is one thing I do know. So the corporate conglomerates are coming in and buying out
yes.
all of the veterinarians.
well, she was just saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But and that these they're putting this RNA in the
Yeah.
dogs' vaccines now. Is that what you said too? I'm
No,
sorry.
I didn't say that. I didn't
Okay.
get to that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading some on that. I mean, I haven't. And that, what is it, parvo? So you can buy colloidal silver for your dog, and you can put drops in their water,
Mm.
and it actually cures parvo. Because if your dog is parvo, it's a death sentence, pretty much.
What's
Yeah.
parvo?
Parvo is, from what I
Isn't
understand,
it a parasite?
yeah, it's something that it's in the soil, and if your dog hasn't been vaccinated, they can get parvo and die. I mean, and I've had a dog that had parvo, and it's a horrible death.
Mm.
And you end up putting the dog to sleep because there's no way they're going to survive it. But yeah.
But it's also, I think, the quality of the pet food out there is
Oh yeah.
such garbage. And
Oh,
if you read what they're actually using in there, if people knew, just like if they knew
yes,
where their meat came from and how it was raised and how it was slaughtered, they probably would never eat that again. If the pet food is even worse because they use
yes,
cancerous organs
yes.
that doesn't get in human food, they will put in pet food. It is so horrific.
Dogs have the same, just like we're feeding ourselves healthy, they have the same energies as we do, and
Yeah.
those energies have to be fed. I mean, your dog, people have dogs with bad breath. It's because of their gut.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh
but
yeah.
when you look at what they're eating,
And
my dog,
their teeth that are
yes,
rotting too.
but my dog has never had bad breath, but my dog doesn't eat dog food either. My dog eats, I buy him a chicken, a rotisserie chicken every week, and you know,
I give my dog steak
Yeah.
from my local
yes,
butcher who has organic meat, and I buy it. He has meat 5 days a week, and he has salmon 2 days a
exactly,
week. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
And he has spirulina,
He eats
all the
better than most
superfood.
people.
Yeah, superfood
Yeah.
spirulina stuff, greens mixed in with that. And he's 12 and he's super healthy. It's like a puppy. I'm walking around town, people are shocked. And when I took him to the vet when he was 9 to get health insurance, she said, "Oh, he's in good shape. How old is he? 4?" I said, "No, he's 9." She said, "What are you feeding him?" I said, real meat, organic
real food.
steak, and yeah, fresh salmon. So it does make a difference. It's difficult if you've got a big dog, but what's going on now with the vet stuff is people need to be careful, and this new rabies vaccine is really dangerous as well. Really dangerous stuff. Dogs are having
Yeah.
seizures and all sorts. I'm not getting my dog vaccinated. I mean,
No.
I've had in the past when I've traveled from one
Mhm.
country to the next, but I'm not doing it again. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it to him. He's only 3.5 pounds. The rabies vaccine he had 4 years ago, the last one he ever had, they give the same amount to my little Chihuahua as they would a fully grown German Shepherd. Same
Crazy.
amount.
Wow.
And they're telling you that's
It's
safe?
that something's wrong with that too. It's just
Yeah,
so obvious something's not right there.
yeah. That's like giving the same amount of medicine you're going to give me to a 3-month-old baby.
That's right.
Same dose. It's not right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I get really uppity when it comes to animals.
I know. I love telling the people that are pushing this on. I just say, I'll take my chances. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I think we've got through everything we wanted to talk about today. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you back on the team, Susan. You've been missed.
Oh,
Yay.
thanks. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is
Yes.
our first
Uh,
podcast of the new year. So happy New Year to everyone at home. Hope 2026 is the best yet.
It is.
it
Yeah.
is.
It is. It's the best. It's going to be the best year.
Yes. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Brace
Anything can
yourself.
change us.
Good
Yeah.
stuff's happening. It is.
Yeah,
Focus.
good
Yeah.
stuff's happening. I mean, we can do our part, but we do need other help outside of what each and every one of us can do. Um, and I think, the awakening, of our spirit, is happening a lot more rapidly.
Yeah. It
Um,
is.
yeah, to others that haven't been awake.
Yeah. It is.
Just
And the men are waking up as well. Men are waking up,
basic.
which is good. We need them
So,
on board. So
Nice.
good stuff is happening. Okay,
Yay.
ladies. Well, have a great week,
good
and
to
I
see you
will
guys again.
see you all
Too.
soon.
Okay,
Bye,
I'll talk to you
Okay.
everyone.
guys
See you
later.
next week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer: the content in this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. The views, opinions, and information shared do not necessarily represent those of the hosts, but is provided for additional perspectives. None of the hosts are medical professionals, so we do not dispense medical advice. Please consult your healthcare professional for any health-related issues. And thank you for listening to Talking Timeline.